Some experts say that 2/3 of businesses fail within 10 years. Some say it's actually 90%. But do you know the crazy part? Almost 100% of those businesses that failed made at least one or more of the same 7 mistakes over and over again. While each mistake seemed small at first, together, these mistakes create a problem that kills more businesses than any recession ever has. But you don't need to make any of those mistakes. And here's the good news for you. These mistakes are completely preventable. So today, I'm going to show you exactly what those 7 mistakes are and how you can avoid each and every one of them. What I'm about to share with you is not just theory. It's a framework that we developed from working with companies that thrived and companies that didn't. And by the way, I'm Alex. I've been in the financial industry for over 15 years. I have top professional designations, lots of experience starting, running, and consulting businesses, and helping business owners navigate their challenges is what I do pretty much every day. Every successful business eventually needs a vision. Some founders start with one, others discover it along the way. But without vision, you'll hit a ceiling, and that's the first mistake that can lead to failure. A leader without direction might succeed for a while, but in the long run, they rarely outlast the ones who know where they're going. Think of it like a GPS. You can drive fast or slow, but without an address plugged in, you're just burning gas without going anywhere specifically. You might get somewhere, but is it the location you wanted to be at? So it's critical to understand where you want to be and the idea of how to get there. What type of business do you want? What role do you want to play in your company? And by the way, making as much money as possible is not a vision. Wealth is just a pleasant side effect of your success. Of course, the road to a successful business is very tough. Having a general sense of how to achieve your vision and sticking to that plan is as important as having the vision itself. Many business owners start a company thinking that it's their intelligence and expertise that will define them as business leaders. In reality, research after research shows that it's not so much the technical skills or intelligence that define business success, but rather curiosity, adaptability, and above all, the resilience and grit of the business leader. It's the ability to adapt, bounce back, and stick to the path no matter what. The good news is those traits can be trained. But the vision and the sense of direction should always be at the center of everything a business does. Mistake number 2 is building the product you sell from the inside out, rather than figuring out what customers actually need. If vision and leadership are GPS, then what you sell is the vehicle that gets you there. Or, as Jim Collins puts it in his book Good to Great, your business is a bus. So think of it this way. Does your bus have comfy seats? Does it look new and have fresh paint? Those are important questions. But most importantly, does it take a passenger to where it says it will take them? Your bus is competing with other buses in the city. And not just buses, other forms of transportation such as bikes, cars, trains, and even walking too. There are pros and cons to each. So why would a person take your bus when there is so much competition and the city is full of it? Instinctively, most business owners understand the importance of their offers, but so many don't get this stage right. Some companies will invest an enormous amount of time, energy, and resources into perfecting their products or services. But quality is only one side of the equation. Many entrepreneurs design their offers from the inside out instead of the outside in. They're thinking about what they want to provide instead of what their passengers actually need. I see this all the time. A business owner gets excited about a new service or feature, their bus. They spend months building it, perfecting it, polishing it, installing the brightest headlights. Then they launch it and nobody cares. The headlights were not what their passenger was actually asking for. The solution is surprisingly simple. Just get the product out quickly and then talk to your clients. Very often what you think people want is very different than what they actually want. I mean, Quite frankly, with this video, I actually don't know if it's interesting or valuable to you. I think it might be useful, I hope it's interesting, but the only way for me to know for sure is if you tell me. If you like this video or if you share it with somebody, I'll know that it was worth your time. Or if you left your feedback in the comments about anything that I could be doing better, I will for sure incorporate it in my future videos. But if you've never seen the video, if I've never asked you about it, it's just me guessing what's interesting and helpful. The key to business success is getting the quality good enough for you not to be embarrassed about it. Then giving it to the market and learning from your customers. Do I think this video is perfect? Oh, God, absolutely not. There's so many things I wish I have done better. Perfectionism can be great. Having a shiny bus with the most eye-catching paint and bright headlights is amazing. But only if this is what your passengers wanted. So when it comes to the offer, I recommend getting it out as quickly as possible. Just look at the iPhone. What generation are we in now? 17? There have been 17 rounds of launched products that Apple has made better based on the feedback and advancing technology. It does not matter if you're just starting your business or have been running it for quite some time. Taking measured risks, experimenting, and asking for feedback early will always take you further than just guessing. Because if you spend months perfecting the wrong idea, you'll eventually realize that your guess was completely off, and all that time was wasted. Mistake number 3 that so many businesses will make is treating growth as a hobby, or outsourcing the understanding of it. Let's go back to our bus. You now have your comfy seats, fresh stylish paint, and the brightest headlights you could find. You fire up the engine and get ready for your first ride. You wait on the sidewalk for an hour, then a few more hours. A pedestrian passes by, looks at your bus, and asks if you can give them a ride, maybe a free ride, because they're short on cash today.
Does this bus offer free rides by any chance?
Another person asks if you can take them to where you don't go. Finally, someone wants a ride to your destination. They pay, they like your bus, but never come back. And then you wait again. After weeks of driving just a few clients, you start wondering, why did you even get into this bus business? You like driving, but you have nobody to drive. Is it because your bus is no good? Or maybe if you actually told others about your bus, you'd have more clients. But you're a driver, not a megaphone. Talking about yourself feels unnatural, fake, and even arrogant. Besides, what do you even say? Many founders are masters of their trade, not masters of talking about their trade. Marketing feels complex, intimidating, and uncomfortable. So some try the lowest hanging fruit, Google Ads, if they try anything at all. Most continue relying on their network and word of mouth, their comfort zone. But Google Ads aren't simple. They can be very expensive and, in the wrong hands, burn through cash like wildfire. Many try it, lose money, and give up completely. Others hire someone else to handle marketing, and that creates another problem. When you outsource, you're not just paying for ads, you're paying for their time too. The payoff can be great, but usually only if that person knows what they are doing, and you know what they are doing too. The mistake is not hiring help, it's hiring help before you understand the basics. Any help you get is just leverage, not a substitute for your own judgment. If you don't have any or very little knowledge, your leverage will be inefficient or even wasted. The more you understand, the more control you'll feel. Even spending 1 hour per week learning marketing will do wonders. And the good news is you don't need to learn all those fancy marketing channels. Sometimes one is enough. You don't need fancy technology at first to track your potential clients. Even Excel will do. You just need to start somewhere. But you will benefit from understanding how marketing works, even if you end up hiring an agency after. I will be frank with you, I really struggled with marketing at first. Didn't even know how or where to begin. But now, marketing is my favorite topic, and I would love to share all I know about it with you. Of course, it's impossible to cover even the basics of marketing in just this one short section. But there's several videos about marketing, growth, and other related topics on this channel, and I will continue creating more, so if you're interested in this topic or any other business topic, I recommend watching those videos next. The fourth mistake is trying to do everything yourself for too long, or by stepping back too far. Now that your marketing is working and your bus is on everybody's mind, you have enough passengers to drive around the city all day, but the pain points of growth start to creep in. You drive, you clean the bus, you fuel it, you change the tires, people lose their tickets, you give them refunds, and you quickly realize that you are so fed up with all this. There never seems to be enough hours in a day. Even if you still love driving, you're often so busy with everything else that you barely get to drive at all anymore. This is something most business owners realize quite late. Being a true professional is not the same as being a good business person. A brilliant specialist with impeccable attention to detail and deep technical knowledge starts a company because they really like what they do. They just want to do it independently, maybe better, but at the very least, they don't want to be an employee. But very often, they end up being employees of their own companies. The problem is that the longer you are working in your business, doing the actual work, the longer your business growth will stagnate. If your goal is to run a business, not being an employee, the sooner you start delegating the actual client work and anything that you don't particularly enjoy doing, the sooner you will see impressive results and growth. Of course, there needs to be a balance between being hands-on and being hands-off. You can hire a mechanic to fix your bus, a cleaner to mop the floor, an admin person to sell tickets, and even a driver to, drive the bus. But if you're too hands-off, the business and the quality will inevitably start to drift. A driver might take a shortcut and miss a bus stop, the mechanic does not fix that noise from 2 days ago, and your bus stops in the middle of the road. The solution here is to either oversee everybody all the time, to have a management system and well-designed KPIs in place, or to hire somebody qualified, and usually quite expensive, to do it for you. But you can't just let it go. In one of my videos about the financial statement analysis, we solved the financial mystery of a business owner, Joe, who paid a heavy price for letting the reins go completely. If you haven't seen that video about Joe, you can watch it next. But without you delegating your tasks, the business will almost certainly struggle to take off. That's why your team becomes critical. They become the face of your company, your leverage, and your support. Your company's culture, vision alignment, and open communication become critical as well. Just as you need to listen to your clients who will give you ideas for what product they want, it's as important, if not more important, to listen to your team. If your team is happy, your business will grow. But an unhappy team or toxic culture could easily turn into a business's worst nightmare. It feels so good to have a bus that's clean, gets everybody everywhere on time, right? All tickets are accounted for, passengers are paying, everything from the vision to marketing and team is running smoothly, almost perfectly. And it would be amazing if it was your bus. Unfortunately, despite you having a clear vision, strong marketing plan, and dedicated, competent team, things seem to be all over the place. And that's a mistake number 5, not prioritizing processes and efficiency. You and your team feel more like firefighters with constant fires to put up than bus operators. Everybody has a sense of what they need to do, but no structure. This is what happens to businesses with no processes or workflows. Everyone just figures it out. And you, the owner, end up being the walking instruction manual. On the other side, some businesses go too far. They add system after system until nobody remembers which one to use. Not enough automation is a problem, but so is too much. Companies could be spending thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on tools nobody uses. But without well-designed processes and the right systems in place, the business will inevitably start crumbling under its own weight. morale drops, quality deteriorates, and retaining customers becomes a challenge. So there needs to be a balance between too many systems and too few. The first step to fixing the efficiency problem is creating the organizational chart, then understanding tasks and responsibilities of everybody on the team, and then building a visual process diagram. That diagram is called many things: SOP, workflow chart, process map, and so on. But it looks something like this and visualizes each step in your process. When we help businesses optimize their operations, what we often discover is a big gap between what management thinks the process is, what they think it should be, what it actually is, and what it could be. For example, when a business owner thinks their process is something like this, and they want it to be something like this, in reality, their process could be more like this, but it could be as simple as this. The largest inefficiencies usually show up in payroll, not because people are lazy, but because poor processes waste a lot of time. Imagine you added even 10 unnecessary steps in your process that require 5 minutes each. That's almost an hour of wasted time. Let's say you pay somebody $35 an hour to do the work. Now, multiply that number by the number of times that process is repeated in a year, and you might really be taken off guard by the cost your company is bearing just because of one inefficient process. But even with the right processes and systems in place, if a company is not measuring results, there may soon be no results to measure. So what should you measure and how? On a very high level, most of your KPIs ultimately tie to some financial indicator. It could be as simple as your total marketing spend to acquire one customer. But KPIs can be much more granular and are not always financial in nature. There could be metrics that measure quality, team morale, client satisfaction. These factors ultimately do impact your company's profitability, but usually indirectly. By the way, there's a full video on this channel that talks about the importance of operations and using the right KPIs. And if you want to start tracking KPIs right away, we've compiled a free guide with over 100 KPIs from basic to advanced and organized them by category with complexity ratings. You can download it absolutely free from our website, and I left the link in the description. Operations may not be flashy or exciting like product development or thinking about strategy, but they are critical for your boss to be able to continue driving around the city. Now, let's talk about the part that makes most founders wake up at night: money. Your boss may have a GPS, a shiny frame, plenty of passengers, and a reliable crew, but if you don't manage your finances properly, you're not going anywhere for long. At the end of the day, your financials are the fuel that keeps your boss moving and people employed. And mistake number 6 is not keeping a close eye on your financials or not understanding them. The first trap is pricing. If you charge too much, you may lose passengers to your competitors. If you charge too little, you'll fill the bus quickly, but soon you may not have enough to cover fuel and maintenance. For many business owners, lowering prices to attract clients is the first instinct. While it's intuitive, it might actually be the worst strategy to win the market, unless you are the most efficient player. Think of Amazon. They didn't just become cheap and struggled. Despite some of their questionable business practices, they built efficiencies that allowed them to be both cost-effective and highly profitable. Being a true cost leader is very, very difficult. It requires scale, precision, and impeccable processes. Otherwise, it becomes a race to the bottom. If you're not efficient, the lower your prices, the less money you have to hire more experienced people. Your quality will start to suffer. You have less money to spend on promoting yourself. You attract customers who demand lower prices, and you simply cannot afford to lose them. The second trap is not understanding your financials. A surprising number of business owners know their revenue and their profit, but not what goes in between. Maybe they understand the income statement, but not their balance sheet or cash flow. Then there is debt and external financing. For some, it feels like a burden, while others get so much of it that it indeed becomes an unbearable weight for the company. In the right hands, that extra borrowed capital can open up opportunities. It can be that extra fuel to help your boss accelerate and get you to your destination sooner. As long as you know where you're going and how to pay that capital back, you're good. And finally, one of the most dangerous pitfalls that really slows businesses down is taking out too much too early. It's tempting, I know. Once the bus is full and revenue is coming in, why not reward yourself? But if you take out too much cash before the business stabilizes, you risk stalling growth. Unless you've already reached a comfortable size for the business, your company needs money to grow. Mismanaging your cash flow, hiring too many people too soon, or not supporting your prices with your operational realities can kill even the best idea. That's why I've created 2 full videos in this channel on how to read and analyze your financial statements and understand your financial performance so that you can see problems before they happen. Up until now, we've talked about some of the most fundamental principles of a successful business. These principles are like dominoes. They all have to align before you can achieve your goal and knock them all out. But just knowing those principles is not enough. If there's one mistake I see over and over again, it's people either starting from the wrong place or staying stuck in one stage for too long. And that's a mistake number 7. Some start with marketing before they even know what they are selling. Others build a product but never build a team. And some stay so focused on running day-to-day operations that they never go back to vision. To succeed, you don't just create a product and forget to advertise it. You don't just hire a team and don't think about how to pay them. There's a sequence of steps. Think of it like this. Leadership comes first, because if you don't know where you are going, nothing else matters. The offer is usually next, because without a product, a service, a bus, you have nothing to get you to where you want to be. Then there's marketing, because even the best bus won't fill itself with passengers. People need to know it exists. The team comes next, because you can't keep driving and fueling and cleaning and selling tickets forever. At some point, you need others to help. Operations keep everything from falling apart, so without systems, the bus breaks down no matter how good the crew is. And financials are the fuel. You can have everything else in place, but if you run out of cash, the bus stops and the team leaves you. One question I hear a lot is, should you build the team first or focus on marketing first, or make your product perfect before anything else? Of course, you need something to sell. But as we discussed earlier, you will not be able to make the product perfect before exposing it to a large enough number of people. So then marketing becomes next, right? Well, from my experience, for most businesses that already have some clients and a strong enough product, building the team is often one of the most important first steps, even before chasing growth. If you're just starting out, with only a handful of clients and limited cash buffer, and you don't mind doing most of the work yourself, and frankly, you don't have money to hire anybody, investing in marketing first can make sense. But even then, I would recommend starting to build your team as soon as possible. And what happens after you go through all the stages and fix all the mistakes? Well, if you do everything right, you avoid or fix all the mistakes that we discussed today, then your bus is likely running on all cylinders. And then you return to your vision again. Are you still on the right path? As your company grows, your vision evolves. Your role changes, you may set new destinations, and the whole cycle begins again. If you start in the wrong place in the cycle, you risk building on sand. And if you don't move to the next stage soon enough, you stagnate. Each stage loops into the next, and each can be affected by all other stages, and each can become a bottleneck. So real secret isn't picking one stage and putting all your efforts into it. It's knowing where you are in the cycle and fixing the bottlenecks in the correct order. Today we talked about how mistakes in vision, product, marketing, team, operations, and finances can stall growth or even sink a business. We also looked at how focusing on the wrong stage in the cycle can be just as damaging. If you'd like to dive deeper, there are videos on this channel for each of these areas. And some topics even have multiple videos. If you think somebody else could benefit from this video, maybe a friend or a client, please share it with them. Sharing knowledge is the greatest gift we can give each other as business owners. As entrepreneurs, we will never be able to run our buses on a straight line for too long. The path will always have turns, road closures, potholes. But at the end of the day, it's always our job as business leaders to keep those wheels turning. And the more knowledge we have, the faster the wheels on our buses will turn. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing and see you next time.